We've taken the lead in the Constructors' Championship, but we still have ground to make up in the Drivers' Championship at Mercedes. We're heading to Singapore, and I think we're going to be strong around the Marina Bay circuit. Hello folks, welcome back to F1 Manager. My name is Aaron and I am managing Mercedes. We're gearing up for the Singapore Grand Prix, and we've also started researching for Season 3 with our car. We have taken the lead in the Constructors' Championship, as I said in the intro. Here it is. We now lead Red Bull by 13 points. So thanks to our first and second finish in Baku, we have taken the advantage, thanks also in part to Sergio Perez crashing out on the penultimate lap. Drivers' Championship wise, Lewis Hamilton is 56 points behind, behind Max Verstappen, and I think he needs to outscore the Dutchman at a rate of 8 points a round, because there's only 7 Grand Prix left. There is the sprint weekend in Vegas though, so that could throw up a right old number of possibilities. George Russell, the equation is a lot more simple for him. He just needs to keep outscoring Verstappen and he will eventually catch him because there are enough rounds for him to do that. So, on the development for next season, here's what I've done so far. Chassis, underfloor, side pods, suspension. Nothing on aero just yet. Just going to get the ball rolling with these. 2, 2, 2 and then 4 on the underfloor in terms of engineers. We are manufacturing a few more parts. New chassis coming soon. Underfloor, which we have got on the car for this weekend. More bits of front wing and more suspension parts, just because I think we're a bit light on those. Indeed, we are short on the pair of them. Only 2 available. So, this weekend this race in Singapore, we should be pretty good because our low speed, which is crucial around the Marina Bay circuit, and medium speed are pretty good. We're in fact the best on low speed. Let's have a look at our chief rival, Max Verstappen. His medium speed is the best, and it might balance out because his low speed is only 9th. So this could be a very interesting weekend in terms of where the pace is. There's a lot of low speed corners, of course, in Singapore. Right, that's enough ado, let's say, because the phrase is usually without further ado. So without further ado, we're going to go to the Grand Prix weekend. I'm going to jump into practice. I'll see you in qualifying. Hamilton quicker than Russell in the first sector with a 26.6. He's done a 36.3 middle sector, 36.7 for Russell. So Russell is going to be massively down. A 27 flat for Hamilton. And it's nearly 7 tenths for George Russell to find just to reach his teammate. Right, here is George Russell's lap. Carlos Sainz has done a personal best. Sergio Perez, the fastest of anybody in the first sector. Let's keep an eye on those as we come through. Verstappen, not as quick as Perez, but remember Perez has got a grid penalty. What can George Russell do in the first sector? It is a personal best. It's a 26.7. Hamilton not improving on a 26.8. Perez is flying. Purple sectors everywhere for Sergio Perez. Middle sector, Sainz has stayed 6th. Middle sector for Verstappen is an improvement. Perez goes fastest, but he will have that grid drop. Hamilton still not improving. Russell a 36.4. Verstappen has only gone 3rd. Leclerc hasn't improved. So Hamilton will start this race from pole position. George Russell, 5th fastest. Hamilton, 2nd in qualifying because of a pretty ordinary second lap. But he will start this race on pole position thanks to Perez's grid penalty. So theoretically it's Hamilton, Verstappen, Russell, the top 3, and then maybe Albon in 4th. Well, scratch the Alex out, Albon in 4th place because he's got a grid drop as well. That might explain his pace. Sainz only 8th despite the fresh components. Leclerc only 4th. Perez put 2 tenths on Hamilton in that final lap. So Russell was 4.5 tenths adrift. But no points given out for qualifying. All given out on race day, and I think we're going to be good on race day. Alrighty then, race day in Singapore. Rain is expected. Let's see how bad it's going to be. Well, looking at this, not great, not terrible. It's an early switch to wets, it would look like. So I think we just do softs really aggressively, just like that, and then inters. Will they go to the end? They will. So I mean, well, if we pit a bit earlier, let's give it a couple of laps maybe, because it takes a little bit of time when it's just a drizzle like that to get wet enough. So maybe lap 14. Looks like the tyres will go to the end, so just a one stopper, I would guess. That's the strategy, that's the race setup. I'm just going to sort out my collar. Yeah, I think we're all set, so let's do a motor race. Alright, the lights are bright in Singapore, and there's 5 specifically red ones that we're looking for. The lights are out, the race is on. Hamilton away well. What about Russell? Looks like he's going to... Where is Verstappen going? Whoa, what was he up to there? As the camera zooms right in, Hamilton holds the lead. Russell loses second place to Verstappen, having looked like he was comfortably clear. There's a wild Bottas in 4th position. The camera is so zoomed in, I don't know what's going on. Right, Hamilton leads the way. We need to clear off at the front. We need Russell to have high aggressive overtakes. What tyres is everybody on? Right, Sainz is on mediums. He's the only one to do that. Verstappen's on used softs, so that will come to us later on. His tyres will wear out, but I mean, it's not really going to make a huge. Shouldn't make a huge amount of difference because it's only a short run to the switch for inters. Let's get Russell past the Red Bull, and then hopefully we can clear off. 7/10 of a second, but again a second DRS zone will keep Verstappen in play here, although Russell is going past the Red Bull. Look at that! The difference deploying on lap 3 makes. And we need to continue to press on. Russell, we can take you off of driving in clean air. We need to get away from Verstappen. And ideally, we want to build a gap back to Lance Stroll and Lando Norris here to make sure we can pit and come out in some sensible air. Okay, the rain has started halfway through lap 10. I have asked George Russell to avoid the high-risk curbs to stop his tyres overheating, because you can see they're actually significantly more warm than Hamilton's are. But everything's about to get a little bit damp. We are 7 seconds clear of Verstappen, which is great because we can theoretically box both drivers and come out ahead sort of once everyone stops. So that's all good news. So we're going to bring the drivers in now. Has anybody else committed to a pit stop? Doesn't look like anyone is, as they all filter round across the start-finish line again. So I think we'll be the first ones in. Because we've got this lovely 11-second buffer, we won't get held up, which is absolutely wonderful news. Both drivers into the pit lane then. So let's watch from George Russell's perspective. I think Verstappen has carried on. Let's see if Hamilton gets a good stop. Yeah, well, 3 seconds, not great, not terrible. Russell slightly slow, very slow, 4.7. That's really not helpful for him. Where does Hamilton pop back out? He pops out in 6th position. Whoops, just ahead of Yuki Tsunoda. Hamilton then going for the overtake to retake the lead of the race. Job done. And let's just go standard on the tyres. Hamilton takes the lead from Pierre Gasly. George Russell now 8 seconds adrift of his teammate thanks to the slow stop. I mean, I could have let them scrap it out in that opening phase, but honestly, it wasn't worth it, because what's the point of trying to build a lead and they're scrapping in either losing time or they collide? Verstappen is not far behind Russell, actually. It's only a few seconds, 2.5 to be precise. So what I'm going to do is get George to deploy and even be aggressive on his tyres. Because he's a bit smoother, we can do that. We're going to pull away from Verstappen here. Just build ourselves a comfortable buffer. Right, Verstappen is very much in the game here for second place. Hamilton is cruising out front. He's fine. I'm going to put the ERS battle assist on for George Russell in the hope that he sort of takes control. And from what I've learned, it basically is asking your driver to defend and attack with the ERS as they see fit. So maybe that'll help him keep Verstappen behind. Tyre-wise, he's actually better off than Verstappen. I think Verstappen is really pushing on his tyres to try and stay with us. Obviously, we are in a low fuel mode. Hamilton out front, 37.9. He was a half second slower than Verstappen, but the Dutchman is bottled up behind Russell and can't use all of that pace. Russell not actually having to defend at the moment, which is a positive. Hopefully he can start to pull away. And it's important for George to stay ahead. He needs to just keep chipping away at Verstappen's lead. As the Dutchman goes through for second position, George will hang it out around the outside, but the Red Bull is still there and does take the position. But George will now have... in fact, I think we still have avoid high-risk curbs there on George Russell. He's got higher aggressive overtakes on. Can he get through here? Not yet. He's losing a whole load of confidence. He's driving clean air and try and take this position back. That was close to contact, but he's still fighting it, is George Russell. And surely here, with DRS himself, he'll find a way through. Overtaking is one of George Russell's weak points on the game. And Verstappen will now start stringing George along towards Hamilton. The rain is starting to fall again, so we can actually start to push on the tyres. Right, I'm going to go attack on the tyres here, deploy. We're still driving in clean air, but we're not actually close enough. So that hasn't worked out. Although Russell's going down the outside here. Will he find the way through? Russell shuffle all the way to second position. He's through. Excellent. Right. Now we need to get clear of this Red Bull. Hopefully. And sort of get Russell halfway between Hamilton and Verstappen in an ideal situation. We've had an accident and it is a Red Bull, but it's Sergio Perez who got himself up to 7th position. And oh, that was interesting. He just dropped it and spun into the wall. He's got rear wing damage. That's not legal. Surely he has to pit or get the meatball flag. Come on, FIA, that's not allowed. Surely not. Gap at the front down to 3.5 seconds now. And there is a 30-second gap back to Lando Norris. 35, in fact, from the race leader. So we could probably pit, come out third. I mean, do we put a set of slicks on it? It would be a massive gamble. The AI is not thinking about it. So maybe not. Maybe that is a bit too crazy, especially from the lead. You might just be throwing away a race win. And that's not the business that I'm in. I'm in the business of hanging on to those race wins. Verstappen on the bubble of DRS against Russell. And now he will have DRS. That's not ideal. But once we've recovered all of our fuel, we can start pressing on again. Verstappen is very much in range with DRS. It opens, but he can't find a way through. They're now less than 2 seconds behind Lewis Hamilton, who can probably go balanced on his fuel and start to maybe try and pull away from these guys. 15 laps to go. Verstappen looking for a way through. I'm going to ask my drivers to go aggressive on their tyres and just maybe press on a bit more. Here comes Verstappen, looking for the way through, finding the way through. That is far from ideal. Russell now defending but failing to hold the Red Bull back, and we are going to have a three-way scrap for the win here. Verstappen has somehow pushed himself and George Russell into contention for this victory. I mean, we could box and come out on another set of tyres and be incredibly fast, but can we find a way through is the question. And now it really is a true three-way scrap. Verstappen looking for a way past his old nemesis, but can't find it this time. We've got the battle assist on, so I'm just going to leave Lewis to it for now and hope that he knows what he's doing. This is an extremely high pressure situation. We do need to get Verstappen out of second place and into third place, because otherwise he's going to extend his lead over Russell by 3 points here. Tyre wise, Verstappen's actually got the best tyres of the lot. And Verstappen is actually going for the lead. And I think he's taking it. Can Hamilton hold him off? It's going to be the magic inside line of F1 Manager. And Max Verstappen has got himself into the lead. Incredibly frustrating. And we're still wheel to wheel. We're actually going to get some DRS in a moment. Actually, Lewis was still on driving clean air, which might explain why he was so slow. Let's go high aggressive overtakes. We're going to need them.
Go for it.
And he's going for it immediately, and he's through. We'll have the inside line here for the chicane. Can we make it stick? We cannot. Did we get DRS? We did. They're just all absolutely together. This is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Can we have DRS for the straight? No, is the answer. And Verstappen will go past again. And we're just going to do this, aren't we? Side by side the whole way around Singapore. Fine. Still DRS for Lewis Hamilton, who at one point was miles in the lead. Maybe we just mismanaged that. What's his confidence like? Only high. Same with George Russell. Can we find a way through? Lewis Hamilton going for the lead of the Singapore Grand Prix. And I think taking it. There's some traffic up ahead. This will be fun, won't it? Lapped cars. One of them is an AlphaTauri of Daniel Ricciardo. Let's push with the engine. Defend this position. We might just have to set this up for the last couple of laps and really give ourselves a big shot at winning it. So might just top up the battery for the next few laps. Verstappen takes the lead. They're still dicing. And there you go. They're still side by side. Who's going to get through here? Verstappen will have the lead and we will have DRS. There it goes. And Hamilton goes through. But you can't make the inside line there work. There's the AlphaTauri of Ricciardo, who's going to give everybody DRS. There you go. Everyone has DRS now. Is the traffic going to be good for us? Yes, it is. Ricciardo was very well behaved there. We're right in this, but there is traffic ahead. It's Zhou, Piastri, Tsunoda. Hulkenberg is not quite in that. But this could get all a bit messy with traffic and back markers. I mean, I don't know if we want to be in front or if we want to be behind to pounce. I feel like we want to be in front. Tyres are getting a bit hot. So let's just go light on them. Russell, please don't fight your teammate. Yeah, we lost a bit of time there actually behind Zhou. That wasn't ideal. We're out of DRS range now. Verstappen could potentially clear off. He's got DRS. Hamilton doesn't. Verstappen is picking his way through this traffic. And I think he's going to steal the win. We've got DRS now. Can we close the gap? We need to balance the fuel. Let's go aggressive on the tyres. Close this gap down, and then we just need to pounce on him, I think. 4 laps to go. Gap is 1/4 of a second. Hamilton is going through. I think he'll take the lead here. Let's deploy, push, and attack. See if we can open up a little bit of a gap. Verstappen does have the DRS. We're going to try and escape here. We can stop him getting DRS. Russell will be able to get through as well. I don't think we've managed it. However, Russell can be there to bother him. And actually has a full battery. So what I'm going to do here is get George Russell to deploy and attack. Get him driving in clean air. Hamilton has not escaped to the point of he can't be caught. Russell looking for a way through. Any one of these three can win this race. I've literally got no idea who's going to. I'm feeling a little bit nervous. Russell, oh, that's Verstappen down the inside. Tyres are getting very hot for George Russell. Verstappen looks like he's going through here. In fact, George Russell is going around the outside and he takes second place. That's excellent news. Now we just need to block Verstappen. Push with the fuel for the last lap. Tyres are very hot. Last lap. And Verstappen is 9/10 behind. Russell has got battery to use. Verstappen has dropped back, I think. He did a 38.4 that time around. As long as he's not close enough with DRS over the bridge, I think we're going to be alright. Lewis just needs to balance his fuel there. Right. Verstappen is 9/10 behind. He's not close enough to get us. We're going to win the race, I think. Track now damp. Excellent. That will cool the tyres down. Oh, that was a lot more stressful than it looked like it was going to be in the first few laps when we were just disappearing away from Verstappen. But we've got there in the end. We've had to use some team orders. And George Russell won't close the gap as much as he needed to. But it's a massive win for Lewis Hamilton. It's another 1-2 for Mercedes. And now I can relax. Oh, that was a tense race. We have finished nearly 50 seconds ahead of Charles Leclerc through all of that. That was the pace that we and Verstappen had. We're just in a different league altogether. Perez is 7th with his dodgy rear wing. I mean, look at that. Look at the state of that. That's disgusting. FIA, how's that still allowed on the track? I've just had the notification for win 10 Grand Prix in a career, so that's not bad, is it? That must be 9 wins for Mercedes this season. And how was Lewis teleported off of his car into the garage? And so is his car. The weird things that happen on games. Lewis Hamilton, though, that's not a weird thing. Seeing him on the top step of the podium as the winner. Get the trophy, my friend. And hoist it high. I mean, the camera shot could have been better there. Spray the champagne. You've earned it, boys. And to be fair, so have you, Verstappen. It's a physical race in Singapore. And when it's wet, mistakes are easy to make. But it's another 1-2 for Mercedes. More jubilation in the Mercedes camp. Is Hamilton still there? No, George Russell's down there now. Love it. Brilliant. Well done, F1 Manager. There's your result. Lewis Hamilton wins from George Russell by about a quarter of a second. Max Verstappen third, Charles Leclerc a distant fourth. This helps us solidify our lead in the Constructors' Championship because Perez only scored 6 points. But let's have a look at the drivers' standings. The gap is now 16 points between Verstappen and Russell. Hamilton with 26 there. Actually got the fastest lap. I hadn't paid attention to that at all. So now he is 25 points behind George Russell, which means he is 41 points behind Max Verstappen. So Hamilton's title push is still on here. Is he going to do a Kimi Raikkonen of 2007 and just storm from third, a distant sort of third, and snatch the championship at the death? And let me know what you think this championship has got left in store for us. Is it going to be a Lewis Hamilton World Championship, the 8th World Championship, a first title for George Russell, or is it going to be a 4th in-game for Max Verstappen? Constructors' Championship, we've extended our lead by 23 points. I think as long as we keep finishing on the podium, I think we've got this sewn up. Perez is just nowhere. I can't remember the last time he finished on the podium, but yeah, a great win for Lewis Hamilton. Second place for George Russell, that's important. Keep chipping away at Verstappen's championship lead. And it's on to Qatar. If you enjoyed that, make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on the video for me. Subscribe for more F1 Manager content. I'll see you in Qatar. You're the best fans. It's goodbye for now.